So this is the Anapanasati, or mindfulness of breathing. And we've been discussing on these different aspects of it, along with referring to the different discourses from the different Nikayas, just to elaborate and understand on these aspects. At the moment, we have been concentrating on the fourth traita, that is the Dhammanupassana, the contemplation of the Dhamma. And within that Dhammanupassana, we also have been discussing on the second one, or the 14th one. That's the Viraganupassi, Asasi Samiti Sikati, and Passasi Samiti Sikati. So, in this Dhammanupassana, or contemplation of the Dhamma, or the phenomena, there are four principles, also known as the eight different jnanas, eight jnanas. And in that we are on the fourth jnana, or the second principles of the Viraganupassi. So Anupassi means reflecting again and again on the Viraga, which means no raga. Viraga means no raga, or no passion. And this Viraga on this particular discourse, this Viraga is not referring to the Nibbana, because another synonym for the Nibbana is Viraga. So that's called a Virago Dhammo Setto. Virago Dhammo Setto. So that here meaning the meaning is the enlightenment, the Nibbana. Okay. So Viraga, Nibbida, Nirodha, Nibbana. So these are the synonyms. But here on this particular discourse, Viraga does not mean that attainment of a Nibbana. So this is a temporary having this reflection on the non-attachment to the things. Okay? Particularly non-attachment to the five aggregates, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. And in order to develop that Viraga, this passion, or the fading away of attachment on these five aggregates, again we have to understand that everything is impermanence, or anicchata, or anicca. So here, once we have understood the nature of anicca, or impermanence, then it's much easier to contemplate on the five aggregates, seeing that this body, or form, the feeling, perception, the mental formation, and the consciousness, I should not attach to it. These are also changing all the time, and I should not hold on to it as me and mine. So that's why here we have to remember that as long as we haven't understood the nature of anicca, or the impermanence, this contemplation of a Viraga is very, very difficult. It comes if we have understood the impermanence automatically. It's automatical. It's kind of a result of understanding, because once we have fully understood that the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana are impermanence, then we don't need to think I should be attached to it. That's why in the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, the second discourse that the Buddha gave to the five ascetics, the Panchavargiyas, that Buddha took these five aggregates and analyzed until understood that these are impermanent and I should not hold on to it as me and mine. So with that, all five ascetics were able to attain the Sotapanna. So that's fine. The four noblehood, Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arhat. These four noblehood states, based on how much do we understand the impermanence. And the level of understanding these impermanence, that leads to the Viraga Dhamma. So we can reflect on the Viraga, the dispassion or fading away at any attachment on these five aggregate, and with that we are attaining either Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, or the highest form is the Arhat. So that is like that. And then further, when we look at the teachings of the Buddha, life of the Buddha, before Buddha emerged or attained the enlightenment, there had been two different philosophies. One philosophy was there is after death. And another philosophy was there is not after death. So two philosophies were there. And the Buddha, as a bodhisattva at that time, he spent a lot of time contemplating on both doctrines at that time that was there. And then when he was reflecting on these two aspects of this philosophy, he realized that he realized after he attained the enlightenment, that these both actually based on some form of attachment. And mostly that is related to either the physical body existence or the mind and mental existence. So that's why the first philosophy was explaining that there is a life after death, so-called the soul. Right? And that continues. So attached to this soul. And again, this attachment to the soul, not only the one tiny particles of the not only the one tiny particle and separate from the others, but it's a spark, like some from the main so-called, what is it called? Atman. So greater soul or pure soul. So it's a part of the greater or pure soul, Atma, and it just came out. And then eventually it's going back again. So attached to that existential or where I will be after I am gone. So in a way, we are attached to our existence even after I am gone. That was another attachment. As a result of that, they cannot comprehend this Viraga Dhamma, because it's still attached to some forms that where I will be. And having said that, there are some examples that comes in the Tripitaka that there were some Ajivakas or ascetics at that time, since at that time there were again two different philosophies within that concept of the life after death. Was the Vedanta and then ascetics. So there were some ascetics, they did comprehended that the nature actually changing all the time. So they accepted the change, that everything changes. Even the mind changes as well. So they accept it as well. And which is again, it's not just the time of the Buddha or in Indian philosophy. it also in a Descartes philosophy as well, right? Say you cannot jump twice in the same river. So that's also the teachings that he also able to see that everything changes, like that. But the thing was, they cannot comprehend after they have gone. So they're still looking for some entity that I am there. So that's why they cannot comprehend the Viraga Dhamma. So that's why they are not enlightened. They could not get this real understanding of the non-existence of even this particular soul. The second philosophy was there is no after death. Now here, they do not see that even there's a body, even there's a mind, so they will not continue. It will just finish there. They have this philosophy thinking that the mind is just a byproduct of the two elements coming together. It's like when you have two wood rubbing it and then fire comes. So soul is something like that. And as a result with that, they have this particularly so-called the Charvak concept. Entertain your senses. Enjoy your life. Even if you have to borrow money, borrow and enjoy. Because there is no after death. So they were also attached to the entertainment. So they were still attached to some forms of the present happiness. Present happiness, not after. So and when the Buddha spent time investigating and studied on that, starting from when he was with the Alargadama and Uddakadama Buddha, two teachers, he went on to the different jhanas, then he realized it is not complete. I'm still attached to some forms. Even when when he attained the Arupa jhanas, right? He said, oh, there is still some forms. Although we say Arupa jhanas, right? But there is a form that's called ayatanas. The forms still exist, form. So mind is still attached to some forms. And being attached to those forms, thinking that I am happy, I am liberated on that. So he realized that one. And then he said, oh, this is not the end. Whereas the first philosophy, he already understood that that's not the way to be free. And he even said that a person who has this a philosophy that cause more troubles in the society and not leading to the harmonious society. So when I was reflecting on this, that's why when I love this Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, it's just a summary of entire Buddha's teaching. So that's why he mentioned these two are the extremes and not for the path that leading to the liberation. So after he went through these two, and understood that there are still some form of attachment on certain views still exists at that time. But when he contemplated on that, so he realized the first thing he realized, as you know, the Pubbē Nivāsānusati jnana, right? What made him to continue. So he had different attachment into different forms, in different existence. So he was acting on that, and as a result, he was reborning this. When he gave up doing that, then he did something else. So he was, continued doing it, and then as a result, he was reborn in that another way, out of as a result of what he had done, like that. So countless of the birth in the previous births he realized, and then after that understanding of this, that every action that he was doing is because of some form of attachment on certain things that he had. So when he able to realize those causes, right? Those causes. And when he understood these causes, which again he understood that actually those causes I was the one who is making. I was the one who is creating. So that's why, self-created illnesses. I was the one who was creating. So when he realized that, so then he fully understood that, this is, I should not have it. This is, I should not attach to it. A viraga dhamma arose here. Because that was the one that causing the trouble. That was the one making me to continue in the samsara. It's like when we are traveling. When we are traveling, let's say we're driving down to the Edinburgh, right? Halfway through, we got the need a toilet, and there is no toilet. So desperately needing this toilet, right? So we look for the toilet, just to release it. So similar way, he understood that the main cause of a trouble is this. So he tried to find the way out. And eventually, and on the day of his enlightenment, he realized that that is the one. So fully understood and want to get rid of. So that's the viraga dhamma. Right? So with that, so he was enlightened. So with that enlightenment, that's why when we look at the Buddhist philosophy, when we're reflecting on this passion, although we have to have a passion to gain that, this passion is basically not having any attachment to anything. Normally we have an attachment on certain forms and certain views and certain rituals and so on. And that also leading to the attachment to the five aggregates. So when we reflect on this Viraganupassi, basically that's why during our practice I was referring it that knowing this form is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankharas are actually changing. And once we have understood that changing nature, then when fully understood, then it just comes out from our inner wisdom want to get rid of. I think, if I remember correctly, Lumpur Buddhadasa, he gave a simile on that, is that a couple fall in love and they are so happy, but eventually something happened and then they don't want to talk to anybody. So both they do not want to talk one another. They just want to get rid of as soon as possible. So it's like getting a divorce. So you want to get rid of as soon as possible so that you can free. So that viraga dhamma is like that. You have seen the main cause, the root cause of it, and you just want to get rid of it as soon as possible. And so that's the simile that he gave, and which again quite easy to reflect on. Someone who is in love, and then after some reasons or something happened, and then the affection or the expression of a love is no more there, then that's why there are so many suicides as well in a young age, after they what's called broken heart, and then suicide, or after broken heart and never want to see his or her face, even the name is allergic. That comes. So that is the viraga dhamma. So in the practice, what we are doing here, actually, as we develop our concentration and reflection and discernment on it, and eventually, just rather than the out there, coming into ourselves and then reflecting, the things that I think I am, actually, no. and able to let it free. There is nothing I should be holding on to it, particularly emotions and feelings, which I normally reflect on giving a dana. That's why I always reflect on giving a dana, that it's not just a giving a dana, but as we are giving a dana regularly, eventually it just seeps in the concept of I have to let go. So all these feelings and emotions also we will be able to let go, and letting go of these feelings and emotions further on, we will be able to let go of our own identity. So that's the first ladder towards to be a real Buddhist Sotapanna. Right, so this is the Viraganupassi, and when we are practicing, what we are doing is, as we contemplate on the breath, we're reflecting the viraga of this Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana. Right? And here, as I said, this is just a temporal dispassion, but very important, that leads to the further other development to free ourselves. So I end here for this Viraganupassi today. Before we practice loving kindness meditation to finish up, anybody wants to ask or any share on this?